Okay, this story here is based from John chapter 3, where Nicodemus goes to Jesus. And in the story, this fictionalized work we've created here, Nicodemus goes home from talking to Jesus in the nighttime, and he goes and he talks to his wife about what he just experienced in talking with Jesus. Okay, the moon hung over Jerusalem like a silent witness. In the courtyard of Jerusalem, the stones still held the heat of the day, but the night air had turned cool. Inside the home of Nicodemus, a single oil lamp flickered, struggling against the darkness. Selina, his wife, had been waiting. 40 years of marriage had taught her the rhythm of her husband's life. A ruler in Israel did not wander the streets after midnight. A teacher of the law did not come home looking like a man who had just seen a ghost. But that's exactly how he looked. The door creaked open, and Nicodemus stepped inside slowly, as though he were entering a house that no longer quite belonged to him. You're late, she said quietly. Nicodemus didn't answer at first. He removed his outer cloak and laid it over a chair, his hands moving slowly, distractedly. When he finally looked at her, there was something in his eyes she had never seen before. Fear and disillusionment, but also something else, wonder. I went to see him, this Jesus of Nazareth, he said to her. Selina's stomach tightened. She didn't need to ask who he went to see. She is able to figure that out. The city had been whispering about the man for weeks, the teacher from Galilee, the one some called a prophet, others called him a threat. So you went to see the Nazarene, this Jesus, she asked. At night time? Nicodemus nodded. Do you understand what that could cost you? She asked him. If the council learned that a ruler of the Israel was seeking out a wandering teacher, I know what it could cost, he interrupted. His voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of something deeper than fear. He sat down. Selina, he said slowly, have you ever spent your entire life building something only to realize the foundation might be wrong? She frowned. What do you mean? Nicodemus stared at the flame of the lamp. All my life, he said, I believed I understood God. I studied the law. I memorized the prophets. I fasted. I prayed. I judged rightly. I built a reputation among men for being religious. But I feel I've just had religianity. He paused. And tonight, this carpenter, this Jesus, told me it's not enough. Selina blinked. Well, what did he say to you? Nicodemus looked up at her, still stunned by the memory. He said that a man must be born again. The words hung in the room. Selina almost laughed, but the seriousness in her husband's face stopped her. Born again, she repeated. You're an old man, Nicodemus. What kind of riddle is that? That's exactly what I asked him. I asked, how could a man enter his mother's womb a second time? And he looked at me as if I missed the point of my entire life. The lamp flickered. He said, "That which is born of flesh is flesh, but that which is born of the Spirit is spirit." Selena folded her arms. "Well, we're children of Abraham. We keep the covenant. We obey the law. Are you saying that means nothing?" Nicodemus shook his head slowly. "I'm saying that it may not mean what we sought." He stood and began pacing the room. "We have spent our lives polishing the outside of the cup, exterior things about our lives, perfect behavior, guarding reputation. But what if God isn't impressed by all that?" Selena watched him carefully. "You sound like a man whose world has been shaken." "Well, that's exactly what happened," he said quietly. He spoke about the Spirit like the wind, uncontrollable, unseen, and alive. Something, not something you manage with rules. Something that comes from the heart. He looked at his wife. "For 60 years I thought I understood righteousness. Tonight I realized I might not even be alive to God." Silence filled the room. Outside, a breeze moved softly through the courtyard. Selena walked toward him slowly. "Well, what does this mean for us?" she asked. "For our life, our place among the people, our standing." Nicodemus looked toward the window where the distant lights of the temple flickered in the dark. "Well, it means we have a choice. A choice between what? Between the life we built and the life God might actually be offering." Selena felt something uncomfortable stir inside of her. Their life had been safe, respectable, predictable. They were admired, trusted, and honored. And yet, if she were honest, there had always been a quiet pressure beneath it all, a constant effort and a struggle. "Did he condemn you?" she asked. "No," Nicodemus said. Her voice softened. "That was the strangest part. He spoke as if God was not looking for reasons to condemn the world, but looking for a way to save it." Selena frowned. "Well, that's not how most teachers speak." "I know." Nicodemus turned back to her. He said, "People avoid the light because they're afraid of what it will reveal. But those who love truth come into the light." And I realized something tonight. What's that?" "I spent my life studying the light," Nicodemus said, "but I'm not sure I've ever stepped into it." His words hung in the air. Selena looked down at her hands. For years they had lived a careful life, doing everything right according to religion, and yet something in her husband's voice made her uneasy. "Well, what if he's wrong?" she asked quietly. Nicodemus smiled faintly. "Well, that is the safer assumption. Then why are you troubled? Because if he's right, everything we've ever trusted may not be enough." He stepped closer. "Lineage may not save us. Religion may not save us." Selena looked up sharply. "Then what does?" "A new heart," Nicodemus said. The room fell quiet. The lamps sputtered. For a long moment neither of them spoke. Finally, Selena walked to the window and looked out toward the dark city. The temple stood magnificent against the night sky, stone upon stone. But she wondered something she had never dared to consider before. What if a person could build a life just as impressive and still be empty inside? Behind her, Nicodemus spoke again. He said, "The wind blows wherever it wishes," he murmured. "You hear its sound, but you cannot tell from where it's going or where it goes." A soft breeze passed through the courtyard trees. Selena closed her eyes. Then she turned back to her husband. Tell me something honestly. Did you believe him? Nicodemus did not answer immediately. Instead, he asked her a question. Selina, after all our years of trying to be righteous, did you feel alive to God? She opened her mouth to answer, but no words came. The silence was answer enough. Nicodemus nodded slowly. That's why I can't ignore him. The first hint of dawn began to color the horizon. Night was ending. Selina wrapped her shawl tighter around her shoulders. I'd like to go see him. I'd like to hear him. I'd like to hear some of the things he's preaching. Nicodemus said that a person can spend their whole life maybe being religious. And Selina gestured toward the temple, glowing faintly in the early light. Yeah, and they may not ever truly know God. I'm going to seek him out. I want to hear some of the things he's saying myself. And we'll pick up on this story in the next session.